Hi folks, it's Tony again from Tony's Comfort Kitchen, the channel that just loves comfort food. Food that will warm your heart and warm your belly at the same time. And tonight we're doing Chinese. Okay, well tonight's dish is, as I say, it's a Chinese, but it's probably, I would say it's a dish that you probably wouldn't normally find in a Chinese takeaway or Chinese restaurant. You may, but chances are that it's, I think apparently it's more a dish that the people who work in the restaurants would eat themselves rather than serve to the clients or eat at home. It's not your typical Chinese dish that although it's cooked in a wok. Well, I'm cooking it in a wok. You don't have to. It's not one of these sort of flash fry Chinese dishes. It takes a while to cook and for the liquid in it to render down and make a nice thick sauce. So now I'll explain a little bit more about this as I'm cooking. But in the meantime, I'll show you the ingredients. Now, there aren't many ingredients, but anyway, I'll show you them anyway. So let's go. Okay, so here are the ingredients, and as I say, there aren't many of them. So first of all, we have the pork. Now, normally this dish, the actual name of this dish normally is belly pork with soy sauce. But I've cooked it once before with the belly pork, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was amazing, but it was just far too fatty, or far too fatty for me anyway. So what I've done here, I've actually chosen. I still wanted a certain amount of fat on the pork, as I'm sure you can see. And these in France, where I live, these are what we call échine de porc. Now, I'm not entirely sure where it comes from. I think there might be neck chops. But if anybody out there has any idea it can help, then please let me know. Add it in the comments below. So we have about 700 grams. This dish will probably do about 4 people. The camera keeps going off. So about 750 grams of pork. There's a lot of garlic in here. So there's about 10 cloves of garlic. 2 star anise, some soy sauce, which actually is one of the main ingredients, and this is a superior dark soy sauce by Lee Kum Kee, which to be honest is probably the best there is. I'll go more into that later on. Some salt, some MSG. There's a teaspoon of MSG there. Now a lot of people freak out about MSG. Believe me, there is nothing wrong with it. It's a completely natural product. The glutamate in monosodium glutamate is found in various foods all over the place. The tomatoes, mushrooms, natural foods. Women have it in their breast milk, so it is natural. Anyway, that's for another. We can have that discussion another day. Some oil, a little bit of oil to cook it in, and some water. And that's it. That is the total ingredients for this dish. It's just an amazing flavour. So I've never actually cooked it with this pork before, so it might not be as tasty as the last dish, but it'll be probably a lot better for you. So without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so we'll switch the wok on, put a little bit of oil in. We don't want to put too much in because, as you say, the pork is quite fatty. So we'll let that get hot. Now the idea is to sear the pork. So the trick for that is to put the pork in and don't keep swilling it around, don't keep pushing it around, because it will actually start to poach rather than sear the meat. Once it starts to go brown, then you can start moving it around. So you can see the oil's starting to smoke. So we'll put the pork in. And we'll just leave that for about 30 seconds or so. What you want to do is brown that meat off as best you can, because it will just, it'll add to the flavour in the end. Again, let it sit. You can see these little bits here. I'll tell you a little bit more about where I got this recipe from when things start to settle down. I won't speak too much at the moment because I need to keep an eye on it. Okay, in goes the garlic. And the 2 star anise. As I say, this is not a quick dish. There's a lot of liquid goes into this dish, and it'll take 40, 45, 50 minutes to reduce down. But the sauce that you're left with when it's finished is thick. It's almost syrupy, even though there's no actual sugar in this. Oh, I've forgotten. There is another ingredient, or 2 ingredients that I forgot. I forgot to add. This dish doesn't normally come with any vegetables or anything, but I found that it needed something, so I will add later on, towards the end of the cooking, some chopped up peppers, the red and green peppers. Well, now time to add the MSG. A bit of salt. Honestly, people are frightened of MSG. They've heard horrible rumours, and none of them are true. It was something that was it came about in some guy in America in the, I think it was the late 60s, early 70s. Hold on, I'll just turn this down. Who had eaten in a few Chinese restaurants and complained of having headaches and various other side effects. And he put it down to the MSG after a bit of research. Now, in truth, he actually said in his report that he couldn't guarantee that it was the MSG that gave him these headaches and other symptoms, whatever they were. But then it was too late. There was some medical journal that published his findings, and that was it. And since then, everyone suspects MSG as being this evil stuff that you shouldn't put inside your body. But the truth is that it's naturally occurring inside our body, and we eat foods every day that have glutamate. The sodium side of it, there's actually less sodium in the monosodium glutamate than there is in salt. And you know, salt is a flavouring, so is MSG, but it's, if anything, it's healthier than salt. But people still want to keep clear of it. I could add a link to a video in the description below that it does a better job than ever I could to explain that actually monosodium glutamate is perfectly healthy and safe, and you should be using it. Okay, so here comes the soy sauce. And heat up a little bit. And here comes the water. Now then, the water should just virtually cover the meat. So, as you can imagine, it's quite a bit. Obviously the amount of water will depend on the amount of meat you have. Excuse the noise in the background, my dishwasher's on, I forgot. I switched it on. Okay, basically that, get it boiling, turn the heat up. And that is it for now. And we'll let it cook away and let it reduce. I will switch the camera off and come back when it's more reduced. But before that, I want to talk about a couple of things. First of all, this soy sauce. I've had some absolute bloody rubbish soy sauce in the past, especially here in France in the supermarkets. I would say that the majority of soy sauces you buy in the supermarkets are absolute crap. This is Lee Kum Kee, which is a long-established Chinese company. They've been around for about 130 years or more. They make probably the best products that you can use in Chinese cooking. But if you can't get Lee Kum Kee, don't worry. All you need to look for when you look for a bottle of soy sauce, to get the best quality soy sauce, you want it, here, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, it says naturally brewed. And if you get naturally brewed, you should be okay. It'll be good quality. And this actually is non-GM, not genetically modified. It says suitable for vegetarians and vegans. Reddish brown colour. It's because they put caramel and other colourings in it. But it's naturally brewed is what you want to look for. And this is this is the dark soy sauce. They do light soy sauce too. The light soy sauce is more salty with less soy flavour. This is less salt, more soy flavour, and they have the colouring in it to make it dark. So you can darken your dishes to make them look more interesting. But yeah, if you can get Lee Kum Kee, get Lee Kum Kee. If not, just go for any that says naturally brewed, and you should be good. Now then, I'll just. It was actually cold water to put in here, so it'll take a while to heat up. Now then, I want to talk about dishes. When I choose dishes for this channel, I'll some are in my head, some I've just made up, and others I will, in a sense, pinch from I don't know, celebrity chefs on TV, and even other food bloggers on YouTube. But there's no way that I would ever copy their recipes and their dishes, ingredient for ingredient. And so what's the point? You may as well just post one of their videos. What I prefer to do is make one of their dishes my own. I may see a different way of cooking it, I may add different ingredients, and this is a perfect case. I got this dish from a YouTube channel called Zhang's Food Workshop, and it's run by a couple, well, not a couple, it's mother and son actually, Chinese mother and son who live in the UK, and they specialise in doing dishes that are the British Chinese takeaway style. They've basically, their family have worked in just turn this down a second. Worked in Chinese takeaways for about 7 decades or something, they were saying, and they're passing on the sort of trade secrets to all and sundry, and they're a lovely pair, Chun and Chu, mother and son. Chu is so sweet, she's really nice. I'll add a link to their channel in the description below. But you know, I thought this dish was fantastic, but I needed to make changes to it, and although it's so tasty, I actually wrote a comment in there on their channel to say that this dish was insane, because it was just, I've never had a dish that was so tasty from so few ingredients. But of course, the belly pork was the good and the bad part of the dish. The good part being that it gave the dish so much flavour because of the fat, and the bad part being, you know, it was just far, for me anyway, personally, it was just far too fatty. So hence why I've changed the recipe, and using this machine, I think the neck chops, I'm not sure. Anyway, and then adding some peppers, red and green peppers, which they didn't use, but I thought I would just to give it some. I always have to have some vegetables in a dish. And the other thing, I never understand why we call belly pork, because it doesn't come from the belly, it actually comes from the breast. The French have got it right, they call it poitrine de porc, and poitrine is a chest. So, you know, in English we call the lamb version, we call it breast of lamb. So why do we call it breast of pork? Anyway, we don't. That's it. Anyway, but so hopefully, I've never actually tried this version of this dish before with the different meat. So I don't know how it's going to come out. It won't be a disaster, I'm sure, but it may not be as flavoursome as the belly pork version. But I'm sure it'll be very nice. Anyway, it's going to take a long time for this to render down. So I'll pause the camera and I'll come back when it's ready, or near when it's ready anyway. Okay, see you later. Okay people, we're back, if only briefly. The sauce clearly has reduced down quite a bit. Now I've just chopped up some a piece of red pepper, green pepper, and I'm going to put them in the dish now to finish it off. As I say, this wasn't in the original recipe, but I just feel it needed something extra, so I'm adding it now. Now that the sauce needs to continue to reduce. I have a funny feeling it might not reduce to the same consistency as the original dish did with the belly pork, but we'll see. There's about another, I don't know, 15 minutes to go, and we'll see, and I'll get back to you in probably 10 minutes or so. I'll switch off and see you later. Okay, welcome back again. I think this dish is pretty much ready. As you can see, the sauce has rendered down quite a lot. It's quite thick. I would say it's not as thick as when there's a lot more fat in the dish. So the original dish, it would have been a lot thicker, but that looks pretty good to me. It's the healthy version, or the slightly healthier version than the original dish. But it's good enough for me because I struggled with the amount of fat that I was ingesting. Not only did I think of it health-wise, but I also, you know, sort of thought of what it was, what it was going to do to my stomach. But I was okay. I was okay. And so that's it. So I'll switch this off, and we'll. I will dish it up, and we'll have a taste. Okay, so let's get a mixture of the red and the green peppers. Some of the meat. Some of the sauce. A bit more sauce. You've got to have lots of sauce, right? Okay, let's try. Okay, so here we are. This, oh man, the smell of this is incredible. It's the, as I say, there's very few, it's really hot, really hot bowl. Very few ingredients, but the star anise just gives it, it's this huge flavour. Oh my god. To be honest, it doesn't have as much a flavour as the original version with the belly pork, but oh no, it's hardly a fail. Bloody hell, it's a completely different texture of meat, but oh man, no, it is worth it. It's really worth it. Anyway, if you like the idea of this dish. Okay, so this is about 10 minutes later. Unfortunately, the battery ran out on the camera. It's the second video I've done today, so it was struggling. Obviously, it nearly got to the end, but anyway. Well, anyway, as I was saying, this is wonderful. It's a healthier version than the original recipe, but by all means, please check out the original version of it on Zhang's Zhang's Food Workshop. I think Chin and Chu, lovely mother and son, do a great version of this, and you'd be well to check that out. But also try this version. This is the healthy version of it, and I think it's just as tasty. The only difference I found was that the sauce didn't quite thicken up enough, because there's probably less fat in it than there is in this. Sorry, in the original. Anyway, so this is an absolute hit, and I implore you to try it. And I also implore you to, if you like these videos, please hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video, and I'll finish off enjoying this, and see you again. Peace, people.